Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another high elo casting. Heading over to the Korean servers for a wonderful high elo game here. Masters to Diamond. Sainsbury's bag in the background.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
As we're heading into here, got some wonderful looking comps here. Ornn, Rek'Sai, Ahri, Kai'Sa, Nautilus. Something very standard outside of maybe that Rek'Sai, who has been popping up a little bit more in terms of popularity very recently. And then for the red side here, Gwen top with a Wukong, Nocturne mid, Smolder Morgana. I have sung Morgana's praises quite frequently recently, as I believe she is definitely worthwhile to pick. Just slightly adjust the volume here. So, looking into this game, you'd expect the Gwen to be winning quite easily in topside here. And then past the 15-minute mark, Smolder's definitely going to be able to take a much larger step ahead, being able to get those stacks of Dragon Pack practice. And now Nocturne here does have 4.6 million mastery on the champ, so we're expecting to see some kind of extreme excellence here, as it could be an early engage in from the Nautilus. Dredgeline going to be hitting on to a minion, so denying any kind of damage onto the baby dragon for the moment. As Ornn is just going to look to live as long as possible here. Nautilus trying again for another hook. And, I mean, you'd expect Gwen to be winning in this lane. Obviously, she does have the advantage of a lot more sustain and a lot more overall damage, especially because Ornn wants to build those resistances. She does deal a decent chunk of true damages. Going to be some extended trading once again, as not really looked much at mid lane. As hook comes through, lands onto the Morgana. There is no black shield available. Heal's going to be popped, as it's now going to be Morgana ticking down. No kill available, but Smolder not able to get a return onto the Kai'Sa either. Void Seeker does go through, doesn't manage to connect onto the Morg, but she is able to walk away within an inch of her life. Nautilus hovering around, looking to try and land a hook here. As it lands onto Morgana and he's stuck underneath the turret. First blood does go over to the Gwen, and it's going to be a return kill over for the Morgana. This is going to be Smolder picking up third, and now Wukong on the run. Rek'Sai is here, having to flash away. Has already used the burrow. Wukong just going to be trying to survive as long as he can, but Rek'Sai seals his fate. And it's a 3-for-1. But Ornn fell first there. It was a dive set up by Gwen and Wukong. Rek'Sai comes in to get a consolation kill. But meanwhile, Smolder and Morgana able to get a double kill on bot. Nocturne now not in the best of spots health-wise, as Nautilus does make an appearance. And the kill onto Gwen is absolutely gigantic, especially for, you know, the dynamic of Ornn. Ornn very much, he gets ahead whether or not you want him to. So having some form of accelerant is critical to be able to nicely scale into this late game. Nautilus going to be going for the hook, but Hallowed Mist going to deny that. But it looks like it's going to be an extended trade here under the turret, and it's Nautilus who picks up the kill. But Ornn using the sustained CC is... We see Morgana in mid here, uses the black shield to deny any kind of entry from the charm. Will expire, so if she does want to, Ahri could potentially step forward, but it's not going to happen, as if you're Smolder in this game, you just want to sit back, relax, and wait for those 225 stacks. Not will look to try and shove in this wave as much as possible. He's tanking up the wave so that they minions go under the turret with as much health as possible, so that then he can back as well. Might potentially look to try and steal some of Rek'Sai's camps. That's the advantage of having the Nocturne. He does have quite a lot of, you know, AoE damage. That passive, the Q, do definitely help. While Gwen did pick up a death, Ornn did not pick up a kill. That gold primarily going over to the Nautilus, so Ornn just going to be arriving back into lane with a Barmies Cinder. Which will be helpful when it comes to denying Gwen the access to easy trades. But you'd need to expect that Ornn's going to need a little bit more in terms of overall tankiness to be able to withstand the Gwen, as currently Smolder, loving life at the moment, does tank a Void Seeker, but that's the Black Shield used, but there's no one else to back him up as Gwen goes in onto Ornn here, dropped low. Nocturne gonna get hit by a Charm. Ahri's not under the turret yet. Wukong finds Nautilus here in the jungle, in the bush. Gonna just have to try and back away. Gwen goes forward with the needlework. Not yet available. Rek'Sai's here. It's one knock up, it's two. And Rek'Sai seals the bouncy castle. But it's going to be a turret tank from Morgana. And it's going to be a kill over to the Kai'Sa as well. Oh no, everything's going sour for this red side. It started off fantastically, but they've given away a kill to Rek'Sai. And Morgana falling to that turret damage. They let it ramp up a bit too much. And we just see there the sort of bouncy castle that you have with this Ornn, Rek'Sai and Nautilus. Just means that the Morgana Black Shield is going to have to be used very, very cautiously. Otherwise, you're going to be facing 14 tons of CC. So the Earnest is on Morgana to try and prevent that from happening. Now Smolder will get powerful. You just need to get to that stage of the game. He will end up just completely annihilating Execute, burn damage on the two squishies, the Ahri and the Kai'Sa. The only other thing that's potentially bringing any kind of threat is also the Rek'Sai, but if you're in a 1v2 against a Nautilus and a Ornn, the only thing you need to worry about is being held down, as Drake is now up and available. Gwen will be taking an extended trade against the Ornn. Needlework does get used, does not manage to connect anything, and Ornn just sidesteps. Choo choo, here comes the call, and it's last call for this train as Gwen is CC'd into oblivion. The Barmies and the Bramble mixed to make a concoction of death, and it's Gwen who takes the fall. Ornn gets his first kill on the board, and in spectacular fashion, sidestepping those needlework needles, not even needing to flash, and able to pick up that kill. And now Gwen needs to try and mount a comeback here, because Ornn is going to always have value, similarly to Smolder. Once you get past a certain point, there is no telling how powerful it's going to be. But Smolder here, going to be called out by the Dredge line. Killer Instinct will go forward as the Black Shield is going to be used. Charm waiting for Ahri. Mum comes in to give him a little bit of assistance, but Charm lands onto Smolder, and it's going to be a killer for Kai'Sa. Morgana knocked up, and it's going to be the Kai'Sa picking up a double kill in bot lane. The 4-man dive, but it's traded for a pick on Ornn in top side. Wukong was able to back up the Gwen there, and it's going to be a Grubs for Drake trade. I mean, while Chemtech itself isn't all too useful, the red side not having it is going to be the most useful thing here. Increased tenacity, heal, and shield power. Kind of built for Morgana, no? Denying the Q root duration, as well as empowering Morgana's passive, which is just pure lifesteal. But now the Grubs will go over to the side of red, and the Drake will go over to the side of blue. As we've not really seen all too much from Nocturne come out just yet. Gwen and Ornn once again trading blow for blow. Needlework is available if Gwen wants to try and extend this trade. As Morgana's just progressively poking down, and here comes the Needlework in from Gwen. Gonna be able to land the first stop, but not gonna be able to hit the second, as it's gonna be a chase down from her. Now there's going to be a collapse onto the Nautilus here. Is the root there? It does land, but Nautilus is able to use the Dredge line to try and get away. Wukong now coming in here. No Cyclone available. It's going to be a flash away from Nautilus as Smolder follows through. Black Shield has been used, and there's no Soul Shackle from Morgana able to connect and deny any further action. Nautilus manages to get out, trades his flash for it. But this will leave Kai'Sa in a little bit of a spot of danger, so you'd want Rek'Sai around, or at least able to be around, as bot lane will now be shoved in. Something has dropped. Oh, something necessary. It's Nocturne's found by Rek'Sai. No further engagement going to take place, but so far this has been a little bit on the dire side. Dredgeline and depth charge used onto the Smolder there. Alright, Charm dodged by Nocturne. Going to be using the Spell Shield to keep away from the Rek'Sai. Be a flash traded. As this bot tier 1 is falling low. I mean, it's not really been something that I've been talking about, but the turret health for these blue tier 1s are dropping scarily low. Killer Instinct is used quite early, but she sees a kill onto Morgana, and Swan's going to have to back away now. No Mum available to be able to help, and Ahri is here. Spirit Rush is used. Root does not manage to connect, and it's going to be Morgana falling quite early. Flash and Barrier available. Charm connects, and it's going to be a 1 for nothing. Smolder falls, using both summoner spells, and Nocturne not able to be in range for that Paranoia. And suddenly there's a chance for the Kai'Sa to be able to get out of control here. More than 1. Killer Instinct was used early, but it was to secure that kill onto the Morgana. And now we're just sort of in a moment of quiet as Ornn changes the subject, and Rek'Sai looks to change the tempo. Knocks up Nocturne there in mid lane. Nautilus uses the confirm to root him down, and it's going to be Nautilus claiming the kill. Call of the Forge God used in top side. Going to be looking to try and catch out the Gwen, but it's not going to be able to connect. No needlework available to be able to try and kill the Ornn, but he will drop low. Charm used onto Wukong now. As it's a dive on the top side. Ornn falls early, but tanks up the turret. Gwen now in the 1v1 against the Rek'Sai. Not going to be able to answer anything as she's knocked up and taken down. And bot tier 1 does fall first. Top tier 1 the next lowest turret, and then after that looks to be mid tier 1. So they are down in kills, yes, but they're trying to make up for it in turret taking. And so far we really haven't seen anything out of Nocturne here. 4.6 million mastery. Something needs to come. Something needs to break the back of the blue side here, as Ornn's able to pick up the Sunfire quite early. A little bit of an engage here. This is going to be all in onto Smolder. No Black Shield to keep him alive. Mum gives him a tiny bit of health, but Rek'Sai not going to be able to assist in the kill, but Ahri makes sure that it's over quickly. I feel at the moment, if you're on this red side, you are praying for the late game, because all you're relying on is this Smolder and this Gwen to be able to burst down the tanks and the squishies. And right now, that's not looking to be the case, as Gwen is struggling against this Ornn. She's not really able to get any kind of foothold. She might be ahead in terms of health, but Ornn's not in any real threat. Charm onto the Wukong. Void Seeker used as well. So they're going to try and go all in onto the Wukong. The clone backs him off, but it's going to be a route onto Kai'Sa, and here comes the Paranoia. Soul Shackle's going to be used in by the Morgana, and she's looking for Ahri there. Cyclone used, and it's going to be a double kill onto the Smolder. The Rek'Sai second to fall. Third route does not manage to land from Morgana, so now it's just all hands back to base. And that is what you needed as this red side. You needed this failsafe, as Ornn is tempting fate a tiny bit here. Smolder now, 125 stacks to his name. Morgana going to be rooted underneath the turret, and it's going to be a confirmed kill. But now Smolder might have been getting a little bit too eager there. Does manage to get the kill, but it's going to be traded. Ahri picks up the gold for that one. Mid lane tier 1 is next to fall. As Gwen in a very, very tight bout against Ornn here. The turret is what she wants. Not going to tank the turret up just yet, but she needs to be careful. That Sunfire could burn her down. The Riftmaker is not going to be enough. As Rek'Sai comes in over the wall, Stridebreaker is all she needs. And Gwen in a spot of trouble. Smite going to come through, and it's going to be the Stridebreaker swing to confirm the kill. 2-5. And Gwen falls. And it started off looking promising, but like I said, Ornn is never down until he's out. He just exists. And until you're able to actually kill him, you always need to be a little bit worried. The Smolder is still going to be your knight in shining armor. Now, one of the issues I do have slightly with this red side draft is there's no real front line. Yes, you have Wukong. Yes, you have Nocturne. Yes, you have Gwen. They can all stand in the front line, but there is no one able to soak up this hook from Nautilus, and it does just slightly go too short to be able to catch the dragon out. But there's no one to be able to let Smolder do what he does best. Everyone wants to be involved in fighting, but no one wants to take the damage. There will be an extended trade. Nautilus going to be falling low here. He does fall to the Wukong. Just looking for a little bit of an extended trade. It's TP in from the Ornn. Paranoia going to be popped into the fight as Kai'Sa's going to be the target. Not Ornn is going to be the next to fall. Now Morgana, can she land this Q on to the Kai'Sa? It goes forward, doesn't manage to connect. The Ranais does allow for a little bit of assistance with that W to be able to slow down the enemy targets. But an overzealous engage from Nautilus, trying to deny any kind of vision taking there, leads to 2 kills going over. And at this point, starting to swing. Rek'Sai's going to be rooted. It's just going to be a disengage. Nautilus tempting fate once again. Does manage to land the depth charge onto Smolder. Dredgeline lands onto Nocturne, but Soul Shackles will be used. 2 lined up. It's going to be Kai'Sa only who gets stunned away there. As Wukong now continuing the engage onto Ahri. Will be able to get the kill as Rek'Sai looks to get a consolation prize. It will be Morgana, but Smolder picks that one up in response. And now you're just taking these bloodthirsty fights and it's not working out. Herald's going to get a second charge on the mid lane tier 2 as the first turret did fall. But once again, Nautilus is the key to this engage, but he falls too early. Now, Gwen wasn't even involved in that fight. That was just a pure 4 versus 4. And it was a 2 for 3, 2 for 4 even. Smolder able to stay alive throughout. Morgana, vital in trying to, catch out the Ahri. Caught out the Kai'Sa with that ultimate. Now, Ahri eyes up the possibility of an engage onto Nocturne. Walks past the minions to try and land the charm. Spirit Rush is available, but it's 4 members strong here for the blue side. Rek'Sai going to be landing the blast, and it's going to be Paranoia coming out, going to engage on to Ahri, but he's dropped too low, he's dropped too fast. It's Rek'Sai picking up the kill, and Nocturne is sent back to base. He has just TP'd in. But now you're on the back foot if you're this blue side. You have no Gwen, there is no TP, but Mung will come through. Call of the Forge God is going to be used in response. Nautilus is the first to fall. And now it's all in on to the Drake. Rek'Sai's going to be the second to fall, and now Ornn goes in, manages to land the double knockup. Killer Instinct used as the Wukong has to disengage, flashes over the wall, can't come through. Morgana is down, but so is Ornn. Ahri falls low, and it's Kai'Sa versus 2, and it's going to be Smolder and Wukong managing to clean up this game. As it is going to be a 5 for 2 there. Nocturne falling early, wasn't really part of the team fight. Morgana the only other one to fall, and it's going to be an absolutely nuts fight. And now you have to sort of feel Smolder's online. Be careful, be careful. As Nautilus does take an extended trade against Gwen. Does manage to land another dredge line, but you're not that tanky, my friend. You don't deal that much damage. He does fall once again. Overzealous, overconfident now. Rek'Sai engaging onto Smolder. Very close to that 225 threshold, but he does have to be careful. Rek'Sai ult does come through as it's going to be... The Rek'Sai ult used does knock Smolder low, but not enough to be able to take him down. As now, kills are even. Turrets majorly in favor of this red side. And I mean, a Hextech Drake as well. It benefits every single member. Hextech Drake itself giving ability haste and attack speed. And if you know anything about Nocturne, he loves a little bit of that. Very well placed binding from Morgana there. Does look up Nautilus, but no Liandry's in her inventory just yet. Will manage to be a second. Nautilus is going to be engaged upon here. 4 members strong, and it's going to be a quick takedown. Nautilus dead once again. 6 to his name. But while Morgana does also have 6 deaths as well, Nautilus is sort of feeling a little bit wasteful. His objective bounty will be claimed, but the Athkan is the real prize. As that will be a surrender for the blue team. That'll be GG well played.